Gallagher, WFJX, Roanoke.
Good afternoon. This is Greater Roanoke Today on WFJX, Fox Radio 910 and 104.3 FM. I'm the host, Cherrie. Today it is my pleasure to have in studio with me Kenney Jarels. He is the president of the Aware Foundation. Thanks so much for being with us, Kenney. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I always enjoy when I have the opportunity to talk about our foundation.
Wonderful. So what about you? Are you from the Roanoke area?
I'm originally from Blacksburg. I've lived in the Roanoke area since 1995, so I guess you could say this is my hometown now.
And you're also a Hokie.
I am.
So tell me a little bit about your background and experience. How did you become involved with the Aware Foundation?
Well, actually, and it's something that I don't talk that much about, and I mentioned it to you briefly before we went on air. 1982, I had a relative that went missing. A hiker discovered his remains a week later. He was murdered. They never brought the killer to justice. Of course, we didn't have social media back then, so our family was left to deal with this on our own, and it was just a tragedy that no family should have to deal with. In 2009, I started helping another organization when their daughter went missing for 6.5 years, and I accumulated a lot of resources throughout those years. And in 2016, a group that of people that supported what I did, because the missing was my passion, and I wanted to continue that because I thought what we had going for us, we could make a difference, and we have proven that it works. And so February 3rd, 2016, the Aware Foundation was founded, and we now have 78,000 strong on.
Wow. I noticed on your website you have some glowing testimonials. Did you get any special training or experience in order to be that good?
Well, law enforcement runs in my family.
Okay.
And we're lucky, we're blessed. Our organization's a little different because we have a retired detective, David Cherrie from the Radford City Police Department. We have a retired Roanoke City police officer that's on the board. So we lean on them heavy when it comes to the missing, and they bring some valuable resources to us when we need it at the right time. So I guess what I have going for me is I've always worked with the media. I was with the Virginia Tech football team for 37 years, and through those 37 years, I met a lot of people locally, nationally, and so I wanted to use that to our benefit. And so far, like I said, it has worked.
Wonderful. Well, let's start with the obvious question. What does AWARE stand for?
Always watch and recognize your environment, and I like that. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, the need for our particular organization is needed. It's unfortunate that we have to have something like this, but we have seen, I don't know if social media has increased, brought it to us in our front door and into our living room to where we see it every day, but people need to be aware of their surroundings, and we definitely offer self-defense classes for women, especially, and it's not that we are saying that the predators, not that we're taking them for the predators, but we're trying to get people focused on what's around them and how they can better cope with a situation that may arise in a dark parking lot or something like that.
In your opinion, do you think it's gotten worse since people are now always on the phone or the tablet or always texting? Do you think they're more aware or less aware?
Less aware. I can't count the number of times that I have seen young ladies jogging with their earbuds on or their headphones on, dark in a darkened area, secluded, that I just want to pull over and say, do you realize the danger you're putting yourself in? You have no awareness whatsoever of who may be around you. And so, yeah, absolutely. And I think social media has made it so much easier for predators. You know, they used to have to go out and scout school grounds, high schools, and things like that.
Right.
Unfortunately, some of these predators are on social media every day, and people don't know who they are. And some of these young people, not just young people, I'm talking about women and men, both. They make it so easy for these guys to track them. And what we want to do is use social media for as a positive influence and try to take some of these predators out.
What is the purpose of the Aware Foundation?
Well, I would say our mission is to help locate the missing, and we do that because we work with law enforcement and families across the United States, not just here in the Roanoke Valley area. And but we also do some things. We have also gone into schools and done presentations on the dangers of social media and online predators. So we do a little bit of everything. But if I had to say what our main focus or mission was, it was to help locate the missing.
Okay. Well, tell me about how this is different from any other advocacy foundation.
Well, for one thing, we have probably the best group of volunteers of any organization I've worked with. And we're not just here in Roanoke with the volunteers. We have them scattered throughout the United States. So let's say, for instance, someone went missing in Sacramento. I've got people out there. Once we get the information, once we are ready to go live with it, I have people waiting in California, waiting for this information to reach them. And by doing that, we are able to reach, it's like I told you, once we get the information, we have it posted, we can reach tens of thousands just in a matter of hours. So it's a win-win situation for police because we can do some things that they can't do, and that's reach a lot of people and reach them fast.
And as you said, the timing is crucial. It's the first 48 or 72 hours.
24, 48 hours, we like to get the information out. We tell families that. Get us, so we can confirm everything and make sure that it lines up, and then we're not doing anything that the police doesn't want us to do. We definitely don't want to jeopardize an investigation because, unfortunately, Cherrie, some of these missing cases turn into a homicide.
Right.
And we run into that quite often. So we need to be careful, but we need to be vigilant and get the information out in a timely fashion.
Tell me about the services the Aware Foundation provides.
We provide a lot more than just social media, and for example, in March, we're paying to have a billboard put up in Bedford for a man that has been missing for 20 years, James Walker. So we do this. We have helped families with 3 billboards. I travel the state of Virginia along with my volunteers, West Virginia, North Carolina, and areas like that. We put on missing persons events. What happens, Cherrie, unfortunately, is there's so many missing people.
Yeah.
In 2019, Amos said that we had over 600,000 people that go missing every year. So it's important that not only do we do our share of sharing on social media, but we get out and bring these events to the people to where they're located. And that's what we do, and we get media coverage. Some of these missing person cases, they go cold, they're put on a shelf, they're forgotten about. And we don't want that to happen for these families.
You mentioned that you have been with the Aware Foundation for 10 years. That's a long time, and you've accumulated an awful lot of resources. Tell me about those resources. How many do you have available?
We have not only just local, but at average, we send 3 to 4 cases to Dateline NBC a week. And we've been very blessed that we have a good working relationship with Dateline. They focused on one of our cases yesterday. We got it out. And we have also been on the show Disappeared, which, is seen across the world. So we have, but that's a lot of work. I mean, these resources just didn't come to us, and we had to do the work. We had to put forth the effort to accumulate these resources. And so we use them to our benefit. And the local media has been very good to us as well.
What about making a donation?
There's numerous ways you can make a donation, and I'd like to tell the people now, anything we bring in goes right back out.
Okay.
Through shirts, we just did a shirt for the police officers. We're doing a benefit for them. We put up billboards. We do missing persons events. We pay for all the distribution of the flyers, pay the cost of the flyers. You can go on our website, make donations. You can go on our Facebook page and make a donation. It goes directly into our account, or you can write a check. And like I said, we don't beg for donations. We've been blessed that families support us, and they see the difference we have made in their lives, and they want to support us. So, but yes, we could use all the resources right now that we could get.
What other way do you get funding for this important foundation?
We do our own events. We do the Delville Summer Concert Series. We do First Fridays, and I always tell people that it's not work, it's a lot of fun, but at the end of the year, based on how many events we did, they divided up with the nonprofits, and so but we work for it, and we don't, anything that's donated to the Aware Foundation has been worked for, I can assure you that.
So the donations that the Aware Foundation does receive is used to raise awareness even further?
Absolutely. Like I said, none of the money, none of us are paid. When I travel to these events that I put on, I pay for it out of my own pocket. It goes back to the families. And we hold, not only have we done missing person events or raising awareness for some of these people, but we've held fundraisers for kids and family members that have cancer. All of that came out of our pocket. And we raised over $4,000 for 2 kids in 2017 to go towards their medical bills. So we do a little bit of everything, and we try to give back to the community.
That's awesome. You're doing a great job of it, too. So how does an individual go about volunteering for a foundation like this?
You can go on our website. We have a special section up there that says volunteers. Fill that out. It comes directly to me. I have a group of volunteers that check everything out, and I tell people, if you're going to volunteer, because it's not for everyone, you're going to see a lot of things that you see these things on TV, but we see them up close and in person.
Right.
And I tell people that it's not for everyone. You're going to you're going to get burned out, and you've got to find something to do other than Aware, or you're not going to last long. But they can fill out an application. They can contact me or one of our volunteers, and we have 18 of them, so we have a lot of volunteers.
That's great. Could you use more?
We can always use more volunteers because I don't know how many cases we get a day. It's a lot. I haven't counted, but right before I came down here, we had someone reach out, and they have a family member that's missing in North Carolina and asked for our help, and that's what the volunteers are working on back in Roanoke.
So what type of work do the volunteers provide for you guys?
We have a little bit of, some of them have a criminal justice background degree. We have a group that gather the information. We verify it with the family. We confirm with the police. Then we have another group that creates the flyers, and then we have more that helps us send the information out to the media, where it could be here in Roanoke, it could be in California, it could be in Arizona, and so we have a great team of volunteers that work well together, and you have to work well together because this type of no one gets paid. You just do it because And we got some volunteers that I helped locate one of them, granddaughter in California, right before she was taken to the border. Now, we were able to get her before she was taken.
Oh.
So some of these people said, hey, I want to help. I want to give back. And so they know what it's like. And so, therefore, it makes it somewhat easier on them to stay aboard and not get burned out.
Do your volunteers need any sort of special skills to do this, or do y'all just train them?
It's been an old joke by my treasurer. Hal Coleman said that I should offer classes for $19.99 and give them some sort of degree. No, most of this is done. I'm very picky about who we have as volunteers because we handle a lot of confidential information. And if that should be broken, the confidentiality should be broken, they're no longer with us.
Right.
And so, no, we train them. I know what's expected, and they know what's expected of them by now. And I'm very proud of who we have now. It's taken us a while, and we've had some bumps along the road, but the group we have now are great.
So you currently have 18 volunteers. How many usually apply, say, within a month?
We usually have anywhere from 3 to 4, and like I said, I hate to say this, but I can usually tell right from the beginning how long they're probably going to last, and right. I'm usually right on the money on that. And so, with 18 right now, we can get the job done, but we're up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning working on these cases, and we do not leave the families alone. I mean, from the beginning to the end, no matter what the end result is, we're going to stay with these families.
Wonderful. So if people want more information, what's the contact information? I know you have a social media account on Facebook. You also have the website. We
have Instagram. We have Pinterest. We now have a YouTube channel that we post. We gather the missing person cases that we've had for that 1 week, and we create a YouTube video and send it out. So we're easy to find.
Awesome. What information needs to be provided when someone needs assistance from the Aware Foundation? Current picture?
Yes. Cherrie, what we want from the family and what we want to do is take some of the legwork out for them, because let's face it, this is not something that you're prepared for.
Right.
So we want to take some of the legwork, but we depend on them to give us the accurate information. The first and foremost thing that we tell them to do or ask them, have you filed a missing persons report? If they haven't, they need to do that first. Once they have that, we touch base with them. We gather all the information, height, weight, hair, eye, place last seen with date, any medical conditions that require medication. And last, but probably the most important thing, is there a missing persons report filed? And we confirm that with the police. If it hasn't been and we find out later, we're going to have to remove the flyer, and we have done that.
Wow, I wouldn't think that would be an issue. I would think that would be one of the very first things I did.
Well, you'd be surprised. We actually have helped the police in some of the wanted cases, and they are technically missing, but missing on purpose. They may be they may have a warrant out for them, and so we have helped families in ways that they probably didn't want, because they ended up, incarcerated, but at least they were found.
We'll be right back after this.
At 3 p.m. right here on WFJX Fox Radio, 910 a.m. and 104.3 FM. My Salem colleague Mike Gallagher and I will be broadcasting live and in person from the WFJX studios in Roanoke on Monday, March 2nd. After the Monday broadcast, join Mike Gallagher and me at 7 p.m. for a Don't Forget to Vote election reception at the Vinton War Memorial, 814 East Washington Avenue, Vinton, Virginia.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. Indeed will also give you this sticky frog, which will suddenly leap and stick to the face of the perfect hire. Okay, there's no sticky frog. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire and try skills tests for free. Terms and conditions apply.
And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Bob Vila here with another home improvement tip of the day, sponsored by Evergreen Memorial Trust.
Baseboard heating has been a popular choice for homeowners since the 1950s. But over time, baseboard units can start to look shabby as their sleek metal covers accumulate dents, scratches, and rust spots. If the units themselves are still working fine, you can spruce up the look of a room by upgrading the look of their covers. Baseboard covers aren't just for looks. They're protecting the heating elements, and they also enhance and help regulate the heat. So if your covers are missing or badly damaged, replacing them may be your best option. If your concerns are just aesthetic, you have a number of options. Possibly the cheapest fix is just to paint the covers. Many suppliers sell metal or even wooden covers that sit on top of the entire baseboard unit. There are also products that slip over the heating element to replace the original baseboard cover. Before you purchase anything, measure carefully and do your research. Some covers can be used only on hot water baseboard systems, not electric ones. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
We're back on Greater Roanoke today, WFJX, Fox Radio 910 and 104.3 FM. I'm the host, Cherrie. Today, my studio guest is Kenney Jarels. He is the president of the Aware Foundation, who seeks out the missing and the endangered, etc. Kenney, what can individuals do to be more aware?
Well, we briefly discussed this before the show. I think the most important thing, and things I still see, is people... They never go to a venue without having someone with them. One of the things that we see quite often, Cherrie, is especially when some of the young ladies go to some of the local bars or the concerts, and they come intoxicated, and of course their defense mechanism is non-existent at that point.
I've seen that too.
Absolutely. And we want them to make sure that they never leave with someone that they don't know. Travel in pairs. And I also encourage, and we have a very good self-defense class we highly recommend. It's the New River Valley self-defense class. I encourage ladies to take this class. I've seen the difference it has made for some of these women. And anything that they can do to enhance their protection, we highly recommend. Because let's face it, you're not going to train predators. Predators are why they're called predators. And so we're trying to keep some of the things, the bad things from happening to the people by simply making them aware of some of the things they should not be doing. And number one, do not travel alone. Number two, do not leave with anyone that you're not aware of, that you do not know personally.
Mm-hmm. At one time, I remember them saying that you're more likely to be abducted by someone you did know, and that's why they went with them to begin with. Has that changed?
It's not changed, especially when it comes to kids that's being abducted. Most of the time, it's a parental abduction. It could be a custody battle. Unfortunately, Cherrie, what we have found in some of these parental abductions, it doesn't end well. And any time I see a kid, and especially one parent says, well, I was in a vehicle, someone came and knocked me out, someone struggled, they took my vehicle, it automatically sends red flags up to me because I've seen it often. A lot of times it just doesn't end well for the kid. Right. And so, I mean, I just think people need to be they need to keep their guard up at all times. And it's unfortunate, but that's where we're at in the society today.
That, and along with the cell phones, always on the phone, or like you say, you got the earbuds on.
Absolutely.
Of course, you got to have your music when you run and all, but I mean, at least pick a safer time of day.
Yes.
And stay aware and keep your eyes open.
I probably, even when I probably drive the younger people crazy because, we went into one of the local high schools and did a safety seminar. And one of the first things I asked them, how many in here? These kids were probably 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. How many of you have cell phones? How many have smartphones? They all raised their hand. I said, why? Of course, at that time, they look at me as I'm going to be giving them some parenting advice. But I always bring a couple of the girls that we help locate with us. And what we miss in relating to these young people, they make up for. When they start telling them about the dangers of what happened to them by getting online and they were abducted, it changes them. So we don't want to scare people to the point where they're scared to death to be online, but at the same time, parents need to be aware of what their kids are doing. And one of the things we try to get them to do is delete some of the apps that could cause a lot of problems down the road.
Mm-hmm. What do people contact the Aware Foundation the most about? Is it runaways, abductions, missing, or what?
It's a combination of all of the above. I would say most of the kids, the younger kids, they're runaways. And I had a very good friend of mine who was the lead investigator for the Morgan Harrington case, Joe Rader, when I told him what I wanted to do. And he says, all right. He says, first thing you got to figure out is they're either running from something or to something. You got to figure that out first. So that's the first thing I try to get from the parents. It's just... the thing that scares me about runaways, and even labeling them as runaways, people will say they'll come back. Mm-hmm. That doesn't always happen. Matter of fact, of the 26,300 runaways reported to the National Missing and Exploited Children, 1 in 6 were approached or taken by human sex traffickers. That scares me.
Yeah.
So therefore, you will not see the word runaway on our flyers, even though we know they ran away, because people see that. And I talked to John Walsh about that, and he sort of agreed with me. He wears an Aware cap, by the way, and I'm very proud of that. People see that word, and we have so many runaways that people just become, they don't care. They say, well, they're running from an abusive, let them go. That's not, we want to get them to a safe environment, no matter what, be it back to their house or somewhere that these kids are safe. So, yeah, we have, but, a lot of times when unfortunately we have some of the, when adults that go missing, sometimes they're missing on purpose, sometimes they're not. So, we need to try to figure that out right from the beginning.
This is Greater Roanoke Today on WFJX, Fox Radio 910 and 104.3 FM. I'm the host, Cherrie. I'd like to thank my special guest today, Kenney Jarels. He is the president of the Aware Foundation. Check out their website and their Facebook page, and definitely always be aware, right?
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for being with us. And we'll catch you the next time on Greater Roanoke Today.